What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone watching this video. Pretty short day ahead of us just because we do have a lot going on tonight with family, but we're gonna get as much done today that we can get done. Before we say anything else, I have a big announcement for you guys. If you are a longtime viewer of the channel, you guys know how much I love my ceramic coat. I have been using this Avalon King Armor Shield 9 for like probably 2 or 3 years now. Absolutely love it. I've probably gone through like 30 or 40 of these kits. They're having a huge Black Friday sale, all the way up to 55% off, depending on how many kits you guys buy. So I think if you buy 10 or more kits, it's 55% off. If you buy just one kit, I think it's 30 or 35% off. So even that is a huge discount. I'll have a link down in the description box below. No discount code is needed. Head down, hit the link in the description box. Go buy as many kits as you guys think you'll need. You might as well stock up while the savings are massive like they are right now. Here's the plan for today. Wash the car. We're working on the M3, by the way. Clean the car, clay bar the car, and we are gonna start the buffing process on the M3. It's always a very, very, very long process. It is white, it's in very, very good condition. It could be better though, and every time you ceramic coat, you want the body or whatever you're coating to be in absolutely the best condition possible. So let's get some soap on this thing, get this thing cleaned up, and get started. All right, so usually we would clean the wheels first, but being that we just powder coated these wheels and ceramic coated the wheels already like 3 or 4 days ago, they're already spotless. So we didn't need to do that. We just foamed the car. We're gonna let that sit on there for about 10 minutes, rinse the car off, bust out some buckets, give it a good wash, give it a good dry, make sure there's no water left on the car, and then we can move on to clay. Here in a minute, I'll pull everything out that we're gonna be using, all of the buffers and the pads and the compounds, the clay, and I'll show you guys what we got. A lot of new stuff that I've never tried out that I'm really excited to test out. So we have the car all cleaned up. This thing's pretty much ready to go. We do still have to clay it and IPA wipe it. But let me show you guys some of the buffing stuff that we've collected over the months and years. I'll start with the buffers first. This is a rotary buffer with a 8-inch backing plate. This here is a dual action porter cable with a 5.5-inch backing plate. This is another dual action with I think it's a 2-inch backing plate, a ton of pads for the small buffer. These 3 pads right here and these 3 compounds are one of the newest additions to all my buffing stuff. So that is the 3M Perfected kit. These pads here would be for the rotary. They're too big for any of the DAs. And then I did just pick up all these Hex Logic pads right here to run with a 3M compound. So we have 2 of the medium orange cutting pads, 1 light medium polishing pad, 1 heavy cutting pad, and then a finishing pad for like waxes and sealants and whatnot, which is black. And all these here will go on that DA. All the stuff over here is just old pads that are still good, and then other compounds I've tried back in the day when I used to wax cars and not ceramic coat. This is what we use, the Pinnacle Severian wax. And then of course, a good old trusty Speed Clay by Mothers. The majority of the stuff we're gonna be using are these 2 buffers here, of course the clay, all these pads here, and these pads here. The car doesn't really need to be rotaried at all. Rotary would be for much more deeper scratches. And like I said earlier, this thing's in pretty good condition. Everything that I do use, I will link down below. So the 3 buffers, all the pads for each buffer, and then the compounds that I like to use and the clay I like to use as well. I will link all that down below. Let's move on to getting the car clay barred. The clay should take off a ton of stuff like this, where it's just like dirt specks stuck on the paint. We're just trying to get the paint as clean as possible before we put a pad on it. And this here is what I use for the clay lube. It is just water with a touch of car wash soap in it. Seems to do the trick. Let's bang this thing out and we can move on to getting it all nice and shiny. All right, we got a pretty good side-by-side comparison of what claying actually does, provided I can use my camera good enough to show you guys. So you see how dirty all this is right here? It's all stained on there, it doesn't wipe off. And then this little section right here, where it's much more clean and white looking, that's the section we clayed. So it's not making the paint perfect, it's making it a lot cleaner, just so we don't destroy our buffing pads. I am gonna pull off this badge real quick. We did order in a black one, so I'll replace that. And then this plate is gonna come off as well. This badge here, I'll probably just work around. And then one other thing I noticed, there's like some PPF on the edges of the doors. We're gonna peel that off just because it's not in good condition. And then on the front bumper, there's still some little pieces of glue left over from the PPF that was on there, the clear bra that was on the front bumper. So we gotta get all that glue off before we start buffing this car out. We are pretty much ready to start the buffing and polishing process. We did the IPA wipe down. I even went ahead and completely covered the wheels with garbage bags just because brand new powder coat, freshly ceramic coated, and they're super clean. I don't feel like cleaning them later if we don't need to. So let's bust out the 6-inch DA. I don't think we're gonna have to use the rotary at all on this car just because it's already pretty freaking clean. Bust out the DA and we're gonna start with the hood. The hood is already sanded down in one area. So we need to get all those sand scratches out, get that thing polished out and see how many passes it takes to get this paint in the most perfect condition that it can be in. So the area of the hood that was sanded down, those scratches are actually pretty deep. I don't remember what grit I used. If I had to guess, it's probably 1,000, maybe 800, I don't know. They're pretty freaking deep. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wet sand it real quick with 1,500 and then 3,000 on the DA with a Trizac pad. Just get it super nice and flat, get all those deeper scratches out, and then we can go back to buffing that hood. That area right there is buffed, and that is not. Pretty big difference. Rotary is going much, much quicker than the DA, of course, when it's cutting through sand scratches. So I'm just gonna bang out this whole hood with the rotary where we sanded, which is this whole area right here. And then we should be able to put the rotary away for the rest of the day. So the whole passenger side of the hood is buffed out with the rotary, with the white pad, with a step 1 compound from 3M. Looks absolutely amazing. White is a little bit more difficult than black. Or it's not more difficult, it's a lot easier, but you can't tell if it's perfect, which I guess in a sense is a good thing, because black you can see all the little swirl marks and whatnot. White it just hides all that. That section of the hood was really the only part of the car that was bad and needed a lot of attention. The rest of the car should be a very, very simple process. Probably like 2 steps. Just buff it out, get some of the major scratches out, run through, polish it, and then once we're sure it's 100% perfect, obviously we're gonna ceramic coat the entire car and just make sure it stays like that throughout the whole winter. So what I wanna do right now is I'm gonna tape off a little section of the hood that we already buffed with the rotary, and then we're gonna hit it with the DA. And basically what we're trying to do, or what I think is the next best option, is come up with a system that works really, really well and that is efficient, and we can just do that same exact process on the entire car, and the whole entire car should just be like mint condition. The only thing I'm worried about is the roof, because it is carbon, and I feel like the clear on the carbon does tend to peel and chip away a little bit easier. We have one little rock chip, and I'm afraid it's gonna spread, so we may have to re-clear the roof eventually, but let me show you guys what it looks like. It's not bad at all. That one little chip there, other than that, I think it should polish out just fine. But yeah, if that little chip starts spreading more and more, we're gonna have to just sand the entire roof, shoot it with some nice 2K clear, and we should be good to go there. But yeah, let's come up with a good system, a good process, and we can bang out the entire car. Okay, so we did a little bit of a testing procedure, and what I found out is yellow is the most aggressive, and then it goes orange, white, and then black. I didn't notice really any difference between these when I'm trying to polish out these scratches. This one definitely takes out deeper scratches and whatnot than this one does. So I think I'm gonna do a 3-step process. I'm gonna use this yellow Hexlogic pad with the step 1 3M compound, and then the white Hexlogic pad with step 2, and then step 3 with this finishing pad here. And that should give us, I think, the best result with the least amount of effort for this car. Being that it's white, like I said earlier, I feel like it's not a super, super hard color to correct compared to black. Black is such a nightmare, I feel like. I remember when Jared and I did the STI and we spent forever on that car, but this car's not really a challenge because it's much easier. The truck, on the other hand, that is gonna be the biggest nightmare of my life. That paint on that truck is so freaking bad. So that'll be fun to kind of have a good challenge for that. But this car, yeah, those 3 steps, probably overkill, honestly, but I don't really mind because I want this car to be perfect. like I said, this paint is already in such good condition, and I didn't think you would really be able to tell a difference, but you can definitely tell it's a lot more bright and like white instead of yellowish. I guess would be the easiest way to put it. So we're halfway done with the hood. Half of the hood took me an hour. So I need to figure out how to go a little bit faster. Yeah, let's keep on trucking, guys. We already got the process down, and I feel like that was the most important thing I wanted to figure out today, was getting the actual steps down that we need to do to get the best result. And we got that situated, so I'm super stoked with that. Let's keep polishing, keep buffing, and then should be able to finish up the rest of the car tomorrow. We just banged out the front bumper. This little guy right here was super handy for all those tight areas on that front bumper. Oh man, kind of out of breath. Everything we just used, link down below. Don't forget Avalon King discount, massive sales right now. I think that's a pretty good stopping point for today. Super stoked on how this car is turning out, and I'm glad we are finally doing it. I think this is something I've been wanting to do since the very beginning, is get this thing all nice and polished up and looking good and ceramic coated. So super stoked we're finally doing it. Whew. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow. We can get this thing finished up. Peace.